Hi, this is Mrs. Burlstein, and my next video is just going to show you how to use the calculator in order to find the sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent of a given angle. So I'm using a nice angle of 30 degrees, but it doesn't have to be 30. It could be 2.5, it could be negative 20. It doesn't really matter what the angle is. The only thing that would change is the numbers that you type in. So what I want you to notice is on your calculator, right above all the parentheses, we have three buttons: sine, cosine, and tangent. So to find, obviously, the sine, cosine, and tangent, we're going to be using these three buttons. Please do not think that the secant, cosecant, and cotangent are these functions that are above it. Those are inverse sine, inverse cosine, and inverse tangent, and that is something very different from the reciprocal of sine, which would be the cosecant function. So to find the sine of 30, all you're going to do is hit sine, and if you can see that, a left parenthesis automatically comes up, and then you type in 30, and then close the parentheses, and press enter. And what I notice, and I'm glad this happened, is that this is not what the sine of 30 degrees is. I know that because of something that I'll be teaching you later. So what I know has happened is that my calculator is not in degree mode. So I just press the mode button, and in order to shift it to degree mode, I go down. Notice radian is flashing, and we'll learn what that is in a bit. And so I want to arrow over to degree and hit enter, and then quit out of the menu function, or the mode function. So now I'm going to do sine of 30 again, sine of 30, close the parentheses, press enter, and I get 0.5, which is the same as 1/2. Okay, so notice, depending on which mode you have, you're going to get very, very, very different answers. So don't do what I do. I just did. Make sure before you do anything, you go into mode and you check to make sure that the degree function is selected. Okay, so now cosine is going to work well because it is in degrees. So cosine of 30, and if I press that, I get 0.866, which you don't know this yet. That would be equal to the square root of 3 over 2, and let me just quickly show you that. Square root of 3 divided by 2, you get 0.8666. The tangent of 30, close the parentheses, is 0.577, and that would be found by doing 1/2 over the square root of 3 over 2. And again, we'll get into that more later. The cosecant of 30, what do I do now? There is no cosecant button on here at all. But we know that the cosecant of an angle is the reciprocal of the sine of that same angle. So this is equal to 1 over the sine of 30. So all I need to do is find the sine of 30, press enter, and then right here above x squared, it says x raised to the -1. That function is the reciprocal. So all I'm going to do is hit that button, and it says ans -1. So it's going to take the last answer, ans for answer, 0.5. It's going to take the reciprocal of it, and when you press enter, you see that that's equal to 2. Since secant is 1 over the cosine of 30, I can find the cosine of 30, press enter, take the reciprocal of that answer, press enter, and I see that's 1.15. Similarly, the cotangent is 1 over the tangent of 30 degrees. And so I can do tangent of 30, close the parentheses, take the reciprocal of that, and I get 1.73. So that's how you use your calculator to find all 6 of the trig functions.